views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Shirt so sexy it hurts, and I'm too sexy for Milan, too sexy for Milan, New York and Japan.
Hey everybody, welcome to Doing It with Styles again. I appreciate you coming back every week, and I just want to let you know, all those people who have not been watching, the cards and letters that you've been sending into the station didn't work. I'm here, I'm back again. I got some very fun people today. It's fun, but this is a serious subject. We have a large homeless population in this town, all over the world actually. And this group works with the people who live in the tunnels, correct?
That's correct.
And how long have you been doing it? Wait, let's talk about, how about you introduce yourself first?
Well, sure. My name is John Femia. I'm a practicing stand-up comedian and actor, but I've been involved with the mission here at Holy Smoke for a little over a year, and the whole homeless issue out here rings resonant with me because me being a New Yorker, I saw homelessness everywhere I looked, downtown and midtown, and there's always someone who's down on their luck. Thankfully in New York, they do have some very good programs that help the homeless, whereas here in Nevada, they're pretty insensitive and they're treated like cattle, and then they really don't have any friends or anyone to go by.
Yeah, the good news, we're not big fans of the homeless.
That's right. So, we do all we can to be there for them. We feed them, we give them batteries for any electrical appliances they need, we give them clothes. We're really there when hardly anybody else is. I mean, there are other organizations that do this, but we feel that we're more personal, and we're in more direct contact with them, and some of them will give food to homeless people, here you go.
Right.
All right. I mean, they're human.
Yeah.
You're not throwing it to a lion in a cage. So.
And my name is Teresa McClen again, and
Trish?
Teresa.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I'm a caregiver, and I work with my husband with our nonprofit Holy Smoke Misfit Missionaries, and
Holy Smoke
Misfit Missionaries.
Yeah, I love it.
They call us misfits for a reason.
Yeah. And we believe in giving, like John was saying, is we don't just look at them as a homeless person or just invisible. They're human beings. They weren't born homeless. They had lives, they had jobs, they had marriages, careers, just like the rest of us. They just fell on hard times. They went through very traumatic experiences that brought them down there with drugs and alcohol. That seems to be the big issue.
Now, there's one more in your group that I'm hoping is going to pop up here somewhere.
There is? Who would that be? Whoa!
Oh, wow. For those of you who don't know, we work in the tunnels with the homeless underground beneath the strip, and John happens to have a tunnel that runs underneath here, so I just came out of the tunnel.
There you go.
Here, so.
The miracle of special effects, huh?
Yeah, so. I'm this lady's husband.
Yeah.
They call me Doc Love.
I claim him once in a while.
Which answers the question, who is this masked man?
Oh, well, let me get rid of this. Although I look prettier without it. I mean, with it.
Yes, you do.
So, that was too.
I've followed you guys for a couple of years now. I wanted to have you on, and it's just one of those things that's never happened. But there's a couple of groups that I have also worked with, nonprofits and stuff like that. One is, and I know you're going to kill me because I forgot the name of the place, but they do cookies. They bake cookies. And
It's not the baked old ladies, is it?
The what?
The baked old ladies?
No. This is. They make these awesome, just fabulous cookies and stuff, and they take them out and give them to the homeless people. Half of what they, in other words, if they sell a dozen, they give a dozen away. And,
That's pretty awesome.
Man, I'll put it up on the screen, but I am so sorry I forgot because I'm old and
All that weed you smoked 40 years
So,
ago. Huh?
whoever you are, we'd like to connect with you.
I'll
to
I'll
say.
set you up.
Yes, connect us with them.
So, Art, how did you get started in this? What sparked you to start working with people in the tunnel?
My mom was an advocate for the homeless when I was a teenager, but I wasn't involved. I was too busy smoking weed and watching
Yeah.
MTV. I want my... Okay, no, I won't sing.
So what
MTV!
country was she in?
Oh, we're from Florida. So my mom growing up would bring all the outcasts to live with us, like out of prison. She worked with the homeless, and I thought she
Sounds like my family.
Yeah, well, that's how we met John.
That's how you met, yeah.
Yeah, all the outcasts. So she'd bring everybody. She would work with the homeless. She was a director of Salvation Army at the time and worked with the homeless. And I didn't get involved into it till years later. We stumbled in it. Actually, Teresa and I started doing a little bit on our own, but nothing organized. I wasn't really an advocate. Years ago, I was a cab driver, fat, lazy cab driver, about 80 pounds heavier. In fact, interesting thing is that your studio is the old Nevada Taxi Cab Authority office where the board
I know.
used to, well, you know that.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
I thought this brought us full circle because
This is
that kind of
crazy.
led me in advocacy period, because when I was a cab driver, I pushed about 17 years ago to put security cameras in all the cabs, and this was where the boardroom, and a year and a half of studies and arguments, media involved, congresswoman. Year and a half later, they voted unanimously on that stage right over to the left here,
That's
which
awesome.
is gone
They
now.
sure
But
did.
We single-handedly changed the course of taxi cab history in
So,
Nevada.
and crime dropped 70%. But meanwhile, before that happened, there was a driver shot in the face. There was one strangled to death with his own dispatch radio cord, and one actually right north of Stratosphere, he was lit in flames.
I remember those.
That
You
was
didn't
the
tell me
final.
that. Really?
Yeah, I told you, but you were really high when I told you
Oh,
that
okay.
day, so
So-
you didn't remember.
My head was in flames at the time.
It was in flames.
So, but there are a lot of homeless people here in Southern Nevada. Why specifically the tunnel people?
Well,
What?
Well, that's actually, we work with homeless all over the board.
Oh, okay. But
We-
the highest profile that
It's-
I've seen has been
Yeah.
people in
tunnels,
tunnels.
Because I remember some of the best teachers growing up. Not that I paid attention to most, but there was one or two that was good. The best teachers always use creative ways to get people's attention. So the tunnels are just beneath the strip. People pay attention, but it's way beyond that. John always talks about it. It's right now with COVID-19, you don't know how many people are about to lose a home. So it's not just the homeless people.
Oh yeah.
It's everybody's got to
Yeah.
worry about now. So the tunnels, we work above ground. We work with the girl that's not in a tunnel above ground. She's stage 4 cancer. She's only 29 years old, 28,
28.
28 years old, stage 4 cancer. She's not in the tunnels. We just do that for our page to grab people's attention. Because
Right,
once
and-
they pay attention, once we hook them,
That's-
then we can teach them.
It's a
I
great-
don't
We
like the
can
word
educate
teach them.
them.
Yeah.
Educate them.
Educate them.
Well, teach, educate, but educate.
You know.
It's a
And-
smoother
Or,
word.
or
I understand.
how about let them in on stuff?
Let them in on stuff, right?
Subtle.
Raise awareness.
Raise awareness.
Raise
I heard that
awareness.
there's close to 15,000 homeless teens, young people.
I think that's a modest estimate, actually.
And that's what I was going to say. I mean, to me, that seemed like,
Yeah.
holy crap, that can't be possible.
No, it's not.
And everyone has told me, but that's a conservative number.
It is a conservative number, and the thing is, I mean, this is what people need to understand now more than ever, okay, especially now that COVID's around. This is the new dance craze. This is going to be more popular, for want of a better word, than people will think. There are tons and tons of people who have spent their life in college, growing up, learning a trade, learning a phenomenal trade, you know, and before COVID even happened, you know, a portion of these people were replaced by robots.
Yeah.
And, you know, ways that the
Yeah.
company will cut down. Nobody really cares about the working man anymore. But even
Supermarkets.
supermarkets, thank you.
You know, I will
Fast
not
food
use-
restaurants.
Yeah, I won't use the self-checkout in the supermarkets because I feel like that's putting somebody out of work.
Right.
It's just going to be a matter of time before more and more families are going to be on the streets and in the tunnels. And I think the whole reason why I think the timing is perfect for us to do the TV show that we're doing, we'll explain in a minute, is that this is the time that you really need to make people aware. And because we have a rather unorthodox way of doing that, with cannabis and, mind you, interacting with the homeless as such, we're going to get shit on all over the world.
Right.
People are going to be like, you're making fun of the homeless, you're enabling the homeless with drugs,
I never
you're this.
got that.
Yeah.
In all the stuff that I've seen that you guys have posted, I never got that you were trying to make fun of them or
Right.
what was the old the bum fights thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, well,
It's-
that's
No,
not
no,
what
you-
that
you
is.
We know
Special case,
homeless.
though.
We actually
We-
know homeless people that been involved in the bum fights, and it's sad. In fact, when we used to start, I used to use the word. You don't think about words that you choose, like the word tunnel dwellers. I hate that word now. I would never use that word because these are our friends. They're
Yeah.
family in the tunnels. We've got friends, and we've been with some of these people for 3 years now, and
3 years, yeah.
we've seen some get out. We've seen a lot get out and do well. We still see some down below who're still friends and family to us. We don't
Yeah.
give up on anybody.
That brings up another question that there are some people who just want that life. Do you
True.
find that is true?
Here's the thing. That has always been true. However, the ratio of that being true now has now slowly begun to turn its course. Look, there's always going to be someone who's enabled, whether they're going to be homeless or whether they're at home.
Right.
And their parents are spoiling them rotten, giving them whatever they wanted, especially the rich elitists out here who don't know how to discipline their children. Okay, I'm tired of being in restaurants with kids screaming at the top of their lungs in the restaurant,
Right.
and the mom's like, "Oh my God, it's so cute!" Look at this," and it's like, you hear that? You hear that crying? That's the sound of me not having children ever.
Yeah.
So, and there's more and more of this element out there.
That's how we got all these Karens.
All these Karens and all these Ashleys, and now here we are now 20 years later. Now what's going to happen to these kids when the parents say, all right, you're on your own?
Oh yeah, they're dead. I mean, they're completely lost, and it's. I know that we thought, when I say we, I'm talking about our generation. We thought that we were, we want our kids to have all this, and we want our kids to have that. I was never that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, really, I worked for everything I had. My parents were. I was lucky in the sense that they didn't hand me anything. I had to earn it. And when I was on my own by the time I was 17.
Yeah.
And joined the military. So thank God that I was treated the way I was, because otherwise I would not have survived.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
never would have made it. I'd be in Leavenworth or something. So.
That's my.
And at the same time, they're homeless people that they don't want jack from anybody.
Yeah.
They'll do it themselves.
Right.
They'll,
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
set up,
Wheels.
what I'm saying?
My God,
Wheels
wheels.
especially. We know
So we'll
this
talk
guy
about
Wheels.
wheels, and I want to follow up what John said, and your question about them not, enabling or wanting to do something. First of all, it's more of a mental health issue.
Yeah.
My best example is, I'm going to ask anybody out there, do you eat right? Do you save all your money like you're supposed to? Do you live a low, modest lifestyle? Why not? Don't blame them for not doing something when you don't even do what you're supposed to.
Right.
Half American, or
Right.
more than half Americans are obese, so it's
Right.
We're
it's a
2 paychecks away from being
right.
in the tunnel.
It's a mental.
Pretty much.
By the way, and a lot of what we deal with, a lot of it, usually the ones that are chronic, it's a mental health issue, because
Right.
I don't care.
And that's where
Yeah,
I was going with
right.
that. Is that it's not my dad when he got out of the Air Force worked in the mental hospital in Washington, and the state mental hospital, and so it was cool because I used to tell people, yeah, my dad's in a mental hospital up in Washington, but he had told me that maybe we're the crazy ones. Because
We
a
can
lot-
verify that right here.
Yeah.
It's like that some of these people, they know what they're doing, and they have 1 or 2 issues that it's easier for them, or it's safer for them to just leave me alone. I'll do whatever I want.
To live off the grid.
That's
yeah.
Get
Yeah.
off the grid. Thank you. That's the word.
There's
That's what I was searching for.
Yeah.
Stephanie's like that. Jenny Lee, they call her. Stephanie used to live underneath the strip, and she's probably still underground somewhere. We haven't seen her in a while, but she was a famous porn star. You can imagine when we talk to her, you just get to. We sense like she's a love act in some ways. You can tell she's very sweet, and she's been taken advantage by so many men.
I think she was abused as a
So
child.
we're just speculating.
Well,
but
but most female
that's a
porn
good
stars were
vibe.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she
So,
was abused.
and she said she was happy underground. Yes and no. At the time, she was every tunnel has a different culture. Some are hardcore, some are more family oriented.
Right.
It depends on level. Homelessness is like people you work with. They're all different.
Yeah.
So her tunnel at the time when we were working with her was very functionable. What's the word we
Functional, dysfunctional.
Yes.
use? Yeah, functionally. Yeah, functional.
Functionally dysfunctional.
Yeah, functionally
Yes.
dysfunctional.
I produce stand-up comedy. I'm very familiar with the term.
Yeah, because talk about. Oh, and by the way, we didn't really mention exactly what our platform is. Holy Smoke started with a group of comedians and cannabis advocates, fancy word for stoners, and yeah, Beavis and Butthead.
Beavis and Stoner is cool. Cannabis is cool. Yeah, cannabis. Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine.
my Tourette's kicking
Beavis
in.
always. Is that Beavis or Butthead? I don't know what the difference
I
is.
did both. First I did Butthead. Yes, being stoned is cool. And here's Beavis. Yeah, stoned is cool. Yeah, fire.
Okay, so
Anyway.
now you lost me totally on track.
I'm
but-
sorry.
No, that's fine. Beavis and Butthead wins. Okay.
And for
So,
those of you watching in the past, it's legal now.
yes. Oh yeah.
Write it down. All right. If you didn't get the memo,
Yeah.
It's
you
Here
got
in
Google.
Vegas, at
Google
least.
it.
By
Yes.
the way, that brings up A&E Networks is coming down in the tunnels with us, and and I said, well, the only way I'm going to bring it down is if you donate some gift cards. I asked them for $300 worth of gift cards that they could pass out. Because we're cannabis friendly, they couldn't even donate it that way. They had to hire me as a consultant to go in the back door to even get around the loophole
Yeah.
of cannabis. And this is
I know.
Vegas. Everybody smokes now. Like
Yeah.
it blows my mind that it's still
But
that.
it's still a federal crime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
And
understand
that's
that.
because-
You know, I'll tell you what. Honestly, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
Oh, you're fine.
it should stay that way. It should stay that way, and let me tell you why. Okay, same way that alcohol had been illegal. Okay, you know, alcohol is a bad example. I'm sorry. When cigarettes first became popular, all right, they weren't government mandated until maybe a couple of years after they became popular.
where you're
You
going.
know what I'm saying? The government took it over, and they brought their little friends in from the Tobacco and Firearms Division, put some nice little chemicals in there that exacerbated cancer. Okay, now we have Monsanto in the state of Colorado. They've already taken over a couple of facilities, so it's like already slowly being the beginning of the end. Unfortunately, Monsanto, they're nothing but fascists. I mean, they will come and negotiate with you, and if you don't agree with their terms, they'll get your property in another way.
Yeah.
And it's definitely one of the dirtiest organizations
I'm a
out
little
there.
more optimistic than John.
Well, no. I'm sorry, Doc.
The
My only
reason I
point
wanna
is,
see it
weed
made
needs to
legal
stay federally illegal. I'm sorry, man.
is so that
Go
you
ahead.
can put your money in the banks.
There you go. There you
That's
go.
it. That's
Exactly.
the only reason.
Exactly.
Is so that because it's a cash business.
Once this becomes federally legal, the government is going to swoop on it like vultures. Monsanto will rule the roost, and bye-bye pure marijuana. I'm convinced of that.
Grow it in our garage.
Yeah.
We don't have a garage. We live in a micro-unit apartment. Our
see.
apartments are only 200 square feet. It's owned by the DTLV.
So some of the
people.
donations we get from people at home are going to put toward a garage so that we could, you know.
We actually let's thank Janine, who our outreach
Seven
coordinator.
Oh,
plants.
friend
You can
Janine,
grow
yeah.
7 plants.
Seven
is it?
plants.
Is it
Seven plants for 7 brothers, yes.
Yeah. Now you're telling your age. Man.
I don't even know that
I
one.
remember that movie.
I don't even
As
know
long as
that
people
one.
look at my
It was
ID
called
in the
7
restaurant.
Brides for 7 brothers.
I never saw it.
Old classic movie.
Old musical classic.
Listen, as long as I can be in a restaurant where they have 50% off for 50 and older, and as long as people look at my driver's license and go, "Hattie, this is fake. Get out of my restaurant," then things are okay.
The only reason I disagree with you, I get your point, by the way. First of all, it's valid, Monsanto's and the power of money, et cetera, and the federal government. all
Always
down.
wins.
However,
We're gonna
there's a
change
lot of
that.
people. There's a lot of people. Yeah, we can change our government, right?
We could all change the
That's right.
government if
And
we tried.
you know how many cab drivers? I got 1,000 signatures from cab drivers when I pushed for the security cameras. You know how many cab drivers said nothing could be done? About 80% of them
Yeah.
said,
Me too.
"I'll sign it. I don't know what I'm signing this petition for." And crime dropped 70%, according to CN the first year they were in. So people that say government can't change, it can change.
If they want
It can
to.
change.
They don't want to. There's no money in it. Okay. Therefore, what we need to do is take the public perception of homeless and turn it around to the way it's supposed to be. Because the thing is, you know, we're going to be seeing a lot more hypocrites out there. The same people that go, "Don't give them anything," or "Tell them to get a job," okay, and then they're out of their own job. Now they know what it's
Yeah,
like,
right.
and they have a family to feed,
Yeah.
and they're out there. Listen, people have no idea how overwhelmingly fucking bad the country is going to get in the next 8 to 10 months. We ain't seen nothing yet, all right? We ain't seen nothing yet.
So vote early, vote often.
That's right.
That's
Vote.
right.
And vote sensibly.
Yeah.
Thank you, if that's possible.
Vote with the conscience if you still have one.
That's right.
Please don't get me started.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you should see my Facebook page.
But you know
Anyway.
what? I want to say this. One thing, Holy Smoke, obviously, a homeless charity obviously says we lean to the left. However, I'm also smart enough to know if we're not conservative with our money, we got an issue.
But that's
That's a different-
has nothing to do with politics.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Never mind.
So-
Let's get back to- and it just clicked with me. I mean, after all this time of following you guys, where the Holy Smoke Misfit Ministries.
Misfit missionaries. We just say
Missionaries.
Holy Smoke Vegas.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
how we simplify it.
And
People remember that too.
But now
better.
I get it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a,
much.
but what we do have is, what I have seen that's beautiful is we've had the far left from transvestites volunteering to the far right, the Proud Boys coming down working with us. So
That's right.
we don't care what political background you are.
Right.
If you're helping today, politics don't really matter.
That's right.
Our groups involves everybody.
It's all about
'cause
uniting for the cause, making a difference.
I've marched with the Black Lives
Yeah.
March, but I've also, my son-in-law is a cop, so I support my son-in-law. So you,
Yeah.
Listen, I support the police.
right,
The ones who don't commit crimes.
of course. The
And
others
I support black people, the ones who don't commit crimes. I support white people, the ones who don't commit crimes.
I
right,
guess.
You know,
exactly.
and that's just it. We
Right.
have, like I said, one of the other shows, we have a 20-year veteran of the Metro Police Force, a black officer, and it's the stories are just horrendous.
Yep.
And,
Oh yeah.
and the biggest thing is, it's the respect that I have for a police officer that stands up and says, "This is not right," is huge. It's enormous. And the ones that, just like everybody else, the ones that just say, "Well, we got to cover that up."
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's what's hurting us.
I'm sorry, I did see one story about a month ago that was very touching that I thought was beautiful. It actually gave me a little glimmer of hope for humanity. I don't know where this was exactly, but a woman had gotten taken by a security guard in a supermarket. She was shoplifting. You know, she was crying up down in the sideway. She just needed to feed her son. She got baby formula. You know, she got food for her and her son. And they called the police, and the cop came, and he's like, "So what happened?" And she was crying, "I need this for my family." Instead of arresting her, he basically took her shopping, made sure she got everything that she needed.
I saw that.
Paid, remember that? Paid
Yep,
for it.
I do.
That was a beautiful thing.
It's
We just do
always
not see that
beautiful
enough.
people everywhere.
And there are people like that, and thank God.
Yeah.
You know, we need that. We need
We need
that
reminders.
now more than ever.
We do.
You know,
We do.
And we need to be caring about each other, because those guys aren't. You know, the ones up that are supposed to be our elected officials that
Right.
work for us. It's
I don't think
hooray
any
for
of
me
us
and
are
screw
counting
you.
on them.
Yeah.
Are you counting on them?
No.
The only,
no,
the only
no.
person I really count on is this lady. She is my role model. I've been married to her 34 years. We met at a party when I was just 20. She was 18. We married 3 months later, and
Yeah.
she's a grandmother of 4. She is the sweetest person, the most giving person, and she's the
concur.
reason we have Holy Smoke, because we're just, John and I, as you see, we're just a couple of
We're
the
goofballs.
dancing monkeys.
We're
that
crazy.
they-
We are dancing monkeys.
I'm the
That's
stupid
really all
white
we
guy.
are.
I'm the stupid white guy in the horror films that goes in a dark tunnel and sees something like flames and fire. Who says, I still got to go introduce
It's
myself.
like, I gotta
this
go check it out.
Yeah. So that's how we ended up in the tunnels. But I do want to thank Matthew O'Brien, who's actually, he wrote a book called Beneath the Neon. He did a lot of help.
I'm sorry, the name of the book again?
It was Matthew O'Brien, Beneath the Neon.
Okay,
He
Beneath the Neon.
he wrote a book. He's the one that started raising awareness for the homeless in the tunnels, and he's taken that. He made money from that book, but he's taken that money and put it towards addiction programs, getting them out. So we always encourage it. So there's another group that do what they do. They're called Shine the Light. We do it a little different than them. We do a little more crazy freestyle, but we focus on certain communities. Now they go to different tunnels, and both work very effectively because they can hit a lot more people and they can find the people ready to get out.
Right.
We spend more time develop relationships and try to get some
Yeah.
out. So either style, there is not one style for charities. A lot of charities are competition. I've seen some nasty stuff in the downtown charities
Yeah, some of your
The-
bigger charities. I won't mention
that are
any
trying to put
names.
other little charities out of business, like because they make money off the
That's right.
Yeah.
off the thing. So
Yeah.
so every style is different as long as you're helping, and you don't even need to be involved in a charity. All you need to do is go visit your neighbor next door, an elderly neighbor, help them out, smoke a joint with them if you want.
That's
I don't
all.
care.
Yeah.
Like, you don't
It's
have
all
to,
about community.
You don't have to go down in the tunnels with us. Plenty of people don't want to go in the tunnels with us. Go ahead.
But the message we want to convey more than anything is that the homeless people are human, and our, shall we say, goofballish way of doing it, because we really are off the wall. There are some people who like have seen us on Instagram and like, what are they? What's the message here? What are we doing? Are you just going to tap dance with the homeless? You're just going to smoke a joint?
We haven't done that. We need to.
We will. Yeah, I got to talk about that. Yeah, I wrote a storyboard. I want to share it with you later.
Okay.
But anyway, no, the point is, see, we're doing it in our own unorthodox way. We want people to hate us. We want people to say you were conveying the wrong message about homelessness. You guys are outlaws. You guys are this. It's like, did you watch? That's
Do it your
That's
way.
really all we're concerned about.
If you got a better way, we challenge you. Hopefully you have a better way.
Thank
Come
you.
on and do it better than
Thank
us.
you.
Yeah.
Please do.
it better.
Please do.
Like,
Please do.
But John, what you said was really important. But the most important thing is they're friends and family. We love these people. I mean,
I've grown very close with these people. I mean, they've known longer than I have. I mean, I've only been involved with this full time for almost a year. I've worked with them over a year, but I didn't become fully involved
About a year.
for about a year. Okay, and now I go on the missions with them all the time, and I know all the people that they've known, and believe me, they all have heart, they all have soul, they all have stories to tell, and we want to share those stories in a way where it's not, shall we say, combative is the wrong. Exploitive, yeah, exploitive. Because I mean, I'm just sick of watching these friggin' homeless shows where guys like with the microphone, the homelessness, it's a serious problem here in America. What about you, sir? You're homeless, aren't you? Yeah. So tell us about that. It sucks. The fuck you want to know? So, it's the thing. So, and the thing is, we don't force anybody. I mean, we want them to tell their story, and they know us and they trust us well enough to do it.
Yeah.
The message will be conveyed the way it's supposed to.
And I'm sure that a lot of people, they're embarrassed about their situation. They
Yes.
don't want to talk about it.
Yes.
And they just want to go hide and.
Yeah.
And that's where we come in. Where we build the relationships with these people. We go to the same camps, and they get to know us and trust us. And over time, they do open up to us.
in fact, what John said actually happened in a documentary recently. There was a documentary in one of the tunnels we go into, and it went like this. Beneath in this tunnel is the heroin tunnel. It's the most deadly tunnel in Las Vegas.
Terrible.
In a world where
Yeah.
there's no heroin tunnels.
Yeah, and then they come up. And did you see the gun somebody had? This is a tunnel we go visit with the veteran in a wheelchair, wheels, 7th generation veteran lives in this tunnel, and he's the nicest guy you'll ever meet. And there's this girl named Amanda who's just everybody loves. She's humorous, and this is the deadly tunnel.
Right. This
So
is the deadly
that's
tunnel.
why we're going to show the same tunnel that they showed and exploited. These are friends and family. We go there, we'll joke around, but we're not always joking around.
No,
You're gonna see on our show. You probably see traumatic stuff, and that's where
Look, you're going to see me do a lot of stupid shit,
Yeah.
okay? But
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
also going to
You
be
count on
deadly
that.
serious. I'm good at that. But I'm also going to be deadly serious sometimes because we're building up to a message, okay? We have to literally beat it into people's heads with a sledgehammer. This is becoming a more serious problem than you could possibly imagine. And it can be turned around if we act now, if we're there for one another, if we care for one another, if we do what we can to show the government that we can do better than they can as far as being humans and helping people and the economy. This would be a beautiful world. It just does not have to be the way it is. But as long as people sit back and do nothing and look in their iPhones and play Pokemon and surf porn on the web, nothing's going to be done. Nothing's ever going to change unless you get up and say, enough.
Well, and you're also kind of up against the stories, and we've all heard them, and you all heard them. Well, this guy here, he's got a laptop. He's supposed to be a homeless guy. He makes $39,000 a year, and all this other crap.
those are rare.
And I've seen a few. I
I've
mean,
seen-
there
they
was-
are-
They won't be for long.
Yeah, there's you're right.
Yeah.
But there was one woman. This was 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago now, over on Flamingo, on the east side. Oh, we are on the east side. Over on Flamingo and past Eastern, and for almost 2 years she was out there every day and she was pregnant, and she needs money for the baby. So okay, after about 8 or 9 months, well, wait a minute, you're still pregnant?
Yeah.
So she's scamming the
5
system.
years later,
She's still pregnant.
But a bigger stomach now. Oh boy.
That's what you're up against.
Yeah. No,
that's the perception that you are fighting in a lot of
Yeah.
cases.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
You know what,
there
every-
are those
You're always gonna
people
have
that are
bad
going to take
eggs
advantage.
Mhm.
But I can tell you from experience, and they can contest that these people that we know personally have been through a lot of trauma in their lives.
tragedy, trauma, and I would say the chronic homeless. 2 words that come to mind when I hear their backstories
Yes.
from raped as a child on up the line. Trauma and tragedy. These are not people say, oh, they enabled. It's they've
They
been
need
through-
to take responsibility for
First of all,
themselves.
until you spend a couple weeks working with them, you really don't know what you're talking about. So
Yep.
What about the drugs?
the drugs are just
They're going to be there anyway.
the
No,
dr-
no,
but-
no, no. What I'm saying is, do you think that a lot of the homeless people, because of, I know meth
That's to
is,
get over-
is
right.
a pretty bad problem here.
Number one on the charts.
Meth is actually one of the cheaper ones they can get a hold
that's
of.
my
Cheapest.
And
Yeah.
the drugs
Yes.
and the drugs is all it's just to cover up the pain inside.
Yes.
Everybody
Right.
forgets
Yes.
that. You don't just I know plenty of drug addicts in our own building.
Well, yeah,
Plenty of
yeah,
alcoholics
and
in
they
our
got
own
jobs
building.
and
But
whatnot.
there's a whole nother level of pain where you do enough drugs where you live underground. And then I love this when I hear about the homeless that they just don't want a job. Do you know how hard it is to be
homeless?
Just imagine going to cook a meal. I had this really nice lady who lived underneath the strip, nice Hawaiian lady. She said to me one time, I asked her that question. She's like, Doc, do you realize how hard it is just to make a meal? First of all, you have to go find some wooden pallet somewhere, and then break it down, and then you have to go find the water, and then you start your fire. Then you put your pan on the fire, and then finally
And
cook.
then hopefully you can find some food.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there you go. That's
Yeah.
assuming you have food to stop. They dumpster dive all the time for food. And this is another thing. They live off the scraps of society. I mean, they dive
true.
in our dumpster. We throw away so much stuff. Some people, actually, there are a few homeless people that do very well just living off the scraps. We got to.
They just know where to go.
Yeah.
There's this
yeah.
one couple that actually reminds me a lot of Teresa and I. They're our age. They're functionally, believe dysfunctional because as a couple, they're better off than most couples
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
They have some addictions, and I always say that it would pretty much be me and Teresa.
Yeah.
Teresa and I have, we've had trauma as kids. She's an alcoholic dad.
I've lived a perfect life.
Yeah, well,
You can tell just by talking to me.
Yeah.
I'm the most stable human being that there is.
right. To be a comedian, you have to be.
Yeah, right.
Oh, it reminds me of what a homeless guy once said. He walks up to me. He's like, "Hey, Doc, you just basically bring a bunch of fucked up people to help fucked up people, right?" So
Don't knock the formula until you see it in
What's the
action.
hardest thing that you've run into down in the tunnels?
just the sadness.
Yeah, the sadness.
Yeah.
When
And
they-
some people want to just. I'm sorry, Teresa.
Oh, no.
But some people, like when we visit them, some people have the frame of mind that they just want to give it all up.
Yeah.
Okay, that happened to someone else we know very well a few weeks ago. I mean, she's fine now, but we saw her on a night where she literally, we were very worried about her, and I think we wound up bringing her to a.
Bonnie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Bonnie is actually going to be in our first episode. In our first episode, you'll see that she's in a good mood. We're joking around because we were introduced. She was the first lady we met in a tunnel, and yeah, we've seen her at suicide.
Yeah, where myself and another one of our volunteers, I sat with her for over 2 hours, just talking to her and calming her down and just bringing her out of that.
And she's family. She's been in and out of the tunnels. She actually got out at one point. She got in a program, and Bonnie was raised by a biker, taught to fight. She punched some girl in the face, so she it doesn't work in jobs in the real world.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Bonnie is family. Bonnie, we met Bonnie when we were brand new. Matthew O'Brien had taken me in the tunnels twice. Then he moved to El Salvador. We started our charity at that point. We went in with a group of comedians. The biggest mix match of
Mixed
comedians.
match, yes. With a
And
capital M.
One of them started to freak out. Diva from Detroit. You'll see her in our first episode.
Oh, the diva.
Diva's
The
great.
legendary diva.
She's an old school comedian. She started freaking out, saying, "You're trying to kill the diva." So, but we're new to the tunnels. It's night. It's 7 o'clock at night. It's dark above ground and below ground. It's dark below ground any time of day. So we're going in, and all we see is two beams of flashlight from deeper in the tunnel. And I don't know who was there. Remember, I said I'm the stupid white guy.
Yeah.
So and I walked up, and it happened to be this really nice couple, and this was Bonnie. She was the first person we got to know, and her boyfriend at the time, Joel. And they invited us into their camp, and Bonnie has been family with us yet. Interesting thing about Bonnie that she does that other homeless people, we have some do it, but Bonnie literally, we'll go pick her up from her tunnel camp and take her to other tunnel camps. She's one of our volunteers too, so she's a Misfit missionary and one of our tunnel friends. So
that's great.
She's family, but Bonnie, yeah. So what? Bonnie thought some girl was being raped in the tunnel. While she heard some so she didn't know what was going on. But they invited us into the camp, and her boyfriend painted this wonderful mural right underneath this. We try not to say where the locations are, but right underneath a big part of the strip, and it says "Holy Smoke" on the wall. And every time we go back, he'd be painting it until he got out. That's Joel. If you see this, we love Joel. He's
Yes,
been
we
out
love
for
you,
a
Joel.
while. He's no longer with Bonnie. He met another girl in a tunnel about a year later. They're engaged, and I'm supposed to officiate their wedding. So we'll see what happens with Joel. But Joel, yeah, he painted an awesome mural, "Holy Smoke." So if you ever see it, it's Joel. Joel.
Joel at Joel.com.
Joel.
So where do you guys get your money from?
Just money.
It's all,
Please.
it's
If
all
anyone
the
has
good.
money.
It's all the goodness of people's hearts.
Yeah, no, and we get some very
Yeah, we get some,
Do
but
you accept donations?
yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
If somebody
Although
wants
we
to
do
help, and that's
Right.
But here's what we harp on that the other agencies don't, that the other missionaries don't, and that is, no, we would love it if you can donate money. Yes, we can definitely use it to get better facilities for these people, but we don't harp on that. We harp on batteries. Believe it or not, they need that.
Supplies. We get a lot of
Yeah.
we
Yes.
get a lot of supplies. Starbucks has been donating coffee until recently because the Starbucks we were going to close down.
Starbucks
because
has always
of
been
COVID,
a great
yeah.
company to
So we
us.
need
They've
a
always been
Starbucks.
good.
So we get supply donations has been what's floated us
Yeah.
mostly.
and so if people want to donate something or the supplies or whatever, where can they go?
Just hit us up on our pages, Holy Smoke Misfit Missionaries.
On
Facebook
Instagram.
or Instagram. Yep, we mostly focus on Instagram. I just find for you old people, Facebook's dying. Just don't want to tell you that. I learned that driving Uber. When we first started our charity, I had a Facebook page, and I had a lot of millennials in the car, and I said, "Hey, check us out on Facebook." Facebook? I ain't on Facebook. When I heard that about 9 out of 10 times, I said maybe it's time to get me an Instagram page.
Really?
So yeah. So for all you old people, get on Instagram. And it's just a photo album. It's actually kind of fun once you learn it. It's really
Yeah.
It is.
So-
It's a lot of fun.
You have an Instagram or
I have an Instagram that I very rarely use.
But you use
I just I don't have time.
I understand.
I
You got a
mean,
studio to run.
I
get you.
got the
Sure.
studio
Yeah.
because I've got our website, the WWDBTV.com. But you know that because that's why you're here already.
Right.
And our YouTube channel, which is also either
Okay, you have a
Worldwide
YouTube
Digital
channel. Where's your
Broadcasting,
YouTube channel?
Worldwide Digital Broadcasting, or WWDBTV.
Okay.
And so, yeah, you can go there and see all of the shows that we've got on the station and stuff like that. So, and some of the charities, I'm going to hook you up with some of my, there's the Just One Project, there's the one that does all the stuff for the kids. For school, they put all these supplies together for the kids for school in backpacks, and they can go in there and they've got clothes and stuff like that for the homeless kids.
That's nice.
And they're over on Rancho and Gowan, I think it is. And they don't ask you, are you homeless or whatever. If you go in there, you can get some clothes and a backpack with the supplies.
I'm thinking, before I forget, because it's important,
Yes,
you
please.
mentioned some of the charities. I want to mention 2 charities that's been a big help to us. Street Dogs, they go out and they work with homeless who have pets. They get them.
I'm familiar with that.
Okay, Street Dogs is an amazing group, and I can't forget our girls, the baked old ladies.
Baked old ladies.
The
Baked old
baked old
ladies.
ladies. Not just to clarify, it's not baked old ladies. It's
Baked
old
old
ladies.
ladies.
Because
OL.
yeah, you'll
OL,
see.
yeah.
You'll see.
OL.
They're the coolest. They're these cool women that ride around in what I call looks like a murder van.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Definitely
and
the one
usually
that
we
Jeffrey
go pick
Dahmer
up
would
stuff.
buy,
They
yes.
came out. One of them won't ever go in a tunnel. They won't go in a tunnel. There's a lot of people are scared of the tunnels for
Yeah.
obvious reason, but they're always there for us, and they're always. We usually go pick up goods from their place.
Yes.
But one time they came out with their murder van, and there's one guy. He's an old vet. He's a very charismatic guy. They called the mayor of the tunnel. He lived underneath the strip for 6 years. Very charismatic guy. Very wiry. Hey! Let me say hello to Craig there, Mr. Mayor. He's always making fun. I have hand trimmers, so he's like this all the time. But he says, "You got hand trimmers," so he's making fun of me all the time. So. But they called him the mayor. He was the mayor of the tunnel. He ran the tunnel. Very charismatic guy. It's interesting how people underground in office are usually the most charismatic people, the leaders. It's pretty fascinating to see that. You see a lot of similarities between.
And they don't grow on trees either.
Yeah. So the mayor of the tunnel. What was I saying about the mayor of the tunnel? But he's an amazing.
He's nuts and he shakes a lot.
He's been out. Yeah. He's been out for a couple years now. We helped.
About 2 years.
Along with the veterans program, we helped him get out, and he's doing well. And we love the mayor. So he was out. He came out to volunteer on a mission. And his first time the baked old ladies had come out. And the mayor's done his. He'll tell you he's done his fair share of drugs.
Yeah, he won't
Of
deny
everything.
it.
But the one thing he not done was a dab, And the baked old ladies like, what? You haven't done a dab? So here they are with their torch
Seriously.
blazing with the mayor. So yes, they are not the baked old ladies.
They are baked. Oh
Yeah,
boy,
they're
are they
the baked
baked.
old ladies.
But they make awesome cookies. You know who you should
Actually,
talk
they
about?
don't make cookies, but they do. That was his group.
Oh, okay.
The baked old ladies make all our food, well, they actually
Wait, they
make
made cookies once, didn't they?
They get cookies. They get cookies.
Oh.
They may even get cookies they get different donations for different places. For all I know, the cookies they had came from the group you mentioned.
You know who you should talk about, Doc? We forgot a very, very important
Oh
person.
my God, Irish! I knew when you said that. Let me tell you something about Irish. Irish is also a Marine. You're a Marine. We were brand new going underneath the center of the strip. There's these massive 8-foot tunnels side by side. And we're new to this. We got this young group of kids that want to go explore new tunnels, and I'm like, and they had guns. We don't carry guns. We don't believe in guns, but that's a whole nother because we're bleeding heart liberals. But we walk up and there's this guy carrying a club, and he looks like an old drunken sailor. And he
Kind of looks like Popeye.
Popeye.
Yeah. No, more like Popeye. Trust me.
more like
Popeye,
Popeye.
yes.
Popeye.
And he's got this
Absolutely.
club in his hand. What do you guys want? So I told him, okay, I got your back. And that guy has had our back since day one. He runs he's security for the underground tunnels. We've walked by. One time we went in a tunnel, and there was this guy high in meth, and he had lit a fire and banging on the walls to keep us out. And Irish is leading us. Where Irish goes, we go. Irish is leading us underground, and I'm like, Irish, he doesn't want us to go this way. It's kind of obvious. He's got a fire blazing. He's banging on a wall at the bar. That's how they keep people out. They'll bang on a bar. And Irish like, no, we're going. We walked right by this guy, and he looked at us. I swear,
Irish don't give up.
yeah, it's all over with Irish. We followed him right next to
We
the
were
guy.
good.
He
Yeah.
just
We were
stared
good.
at us, and he kind of looked like Charles Manson.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
But
he just,
scarier, I think.
Yeah, because we're underground in a dark tunnel with Charles Manson.
You know, there was one time I was in the back of the tunnel with Irish. We were going back with some more food to feed people in the back. And this Manson dude, who, that particular day, it was as if someone took a pack of matches and lit them and put them under Manson's nuts. That's the look he had on his face. And we're all the way in the back of the tunnel, and we're all the way in the back, and we don't know what's going on. But outside in the front, I hear a guy at the top of his lungs go, "Holy fucking shit!" And he did it in a way where it's like, oh my God, someone's getting murdered out there. Is
They
Doc
call all
okay?
our
Like I thought something happened to Doc or Teresa or one of our volunteers, and I yelled. I'm like, "Is everything okay?" And Irish and I start walking back. I'm like, "Is everything okay?" And the maniac comes into the tunnel and goes, yeah, I just felt like yelling.
So here's one other thing. This brings
Don't get me
things.
wrong. I wanted to say that on many a morning when I wake up, but it's got to be in
It's
context somehow.
therapeutic.
Yeah.
Beats primal screaming. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. There's one other thing I want to say about Irish. This is where we really personally connect. About maybe 2-3 months after knowing him, we went. My mom was an advocate for the homeless, so we went beneath this strip. At the time, we were going to 2 different tunnel camps, and we spread some of our ashes beneath the strip. And we went in with the Irish and a group of us, and we're down beneath this area. It's massive area, about twice the size of maybe 4 times the size of your studio, and every wall is covered with the most amazing decades of urban art. They call it the gallery. It's an amazing underground art world. And we're here, and there's a little bit of water left from the floods, which, by the way, let's not forget, these tunnels are deadly. We'll talk about that in a minute. And so here I spread some of my mom's ashes, and here's this tough old Marine. He's like, can I spread some of your mom's ashes? And I'm like, sure. So here he is. He spread some of my mom's ashes, and Irish got down on his knees and did a prayer for my mom. That's when I got emotional. I was all good. Like I'm not crying it up to this point, and then I seen that, and we all down on our knees. And we're not, by the way, we're not a religious group. We accept all religions. We respect, like, it's whatever good you have. So.
This is Vegas, no judgments.
Yeah. We accept all. Hey, we're the Misfit missionaries. We accept all. Our philosophy is less judging and more loving.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's
So that's why
what it's all about.
That's why I love Irish, and I'll tell you 2 more stories about Irish because he's great. One time, Christmas Day, we broke up into different groups. We broke up into different groups, and Teresa and I are with Irish, and we're going down beneath our original tunnel, and there's this one guy who's giving us a hard time. He's just more of a narcissist. He always wants more. And Bonnie used to live in that tunnel. She calls him Creepy something, but we're not going to use his name. And so we're at his camp, and he has this tarp that separates it. Usually he's okay. You give him food and stuff. We gave cheeseburgers, Christmas cookies. It's Christmas morning. Everybody's happy. We're having a fantastic day. And Irish, by the way, is behind Teresa and I because we film our stuff for Instagram. And Irish is now known as Irish the Homeless Filmmaker. So he holds my phone clips in here for our Instagram page, and then it's got 2 LED lights, and he films it. So he's Irish the Homeless Filmmaker. He was actually recognized in a convenience store one day. You're Irish the Homeless Filmmaker. So he's got fans already.
He actually said a child had went up to him and asked for his autograph.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
So we're in this tunnel. We give cheeseburgers, we give clothes, we give Christmas cookies, and gave him extra cheeseburgers. And then he got greedy because some people push the envelope. We do know. We have to know when to say no. We know. We won't deal with toxicity.
And it's no different than above ground.
Yeah,
you got the same people. So
We got that neighbor that comes out when we have a potluck, and he never brings food.
And he lives with us. He has a home. He's got a job. He's got money. Comes out.
He's
Eats
probably got
everybody
more
else's
money than
food.
we do. That's because he doesn't. It's going good, but then we're about to leave. So we're about to leave the camp, and creepy guy. It's what they call him. We're not judging, but that's what they call him. We're trying to.
No judgments, but that bastard is creepy.
So he started giving us a hard time because he wanted more cheeseburgers. We're like, there's other people we got to feed. We can't. And you start hearing Irish is like her pit bull. Irish she could have a motherfucker killed if she wanted. Like,
that's right.
Yeah, there's people down below. She's got a lot of
Connections.
respect
Gotta
below.
have
Not that's not what we're about.
That's not what I'm about.
Yeah, okay, we're not
That's
about
not
that. So we're down below and with this creepy guy, and Irish starts growling behind us, like Teresa's pit bull back there. And we just at this point, I'm like, we just move on. I said, okay, we'll see you next time.
Yep.
And we popped out the tarp that he had to separate his camp drops behind us, and Irish was holding the lighting and the camera. He's like, just a second. I left my coffee back in his camp.
And I'm like, Irish, no.
So
I had a bad feeling.
So he steps back in the
happen.
camp. The tarp drops behind. We're standing in the dark because he has the lighting now. We're in a dark tunnel. And all we hear is, you better be nice to these people. I don't want to come back for you. later on, that same guy had threatened us because we quit going to that tunnel because he was just getting too. He was too toxic.
It was too dangerous.
He was too
much.
toxic for our ladies.
It was too much.
And then he actually has a phone, and he threatened me via text. And Irish heard he threatened me. He said, "I'm gonna get that." I'm like, "Irish, we're about love. Let it go." Nobody fucks with my family. So apparently, we can't. Allegedly, somebody smashed somebody's face up against the wall. Yeah. So Irish, but we're about love. We do not. Irish, if you happen to see this piece, we do not encourage you to smash people's faces up against the wall.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
We're getting a little bit short on time
go
here.
ahead.
So
Okay.
what is it, before we wrap this up, what do you want to make sure that people out there know more than anything?
More than anything, we want them to understand that this is going to be worse than a pandemic, but now is the time. If we're going to make a difference, if we're going to turn it around, if we're going to be there to help each other, it has to happen now. Actually, it has to happen yesterday.
How do we do that?
Very easily done. You see someone who's down and then look on the sidewalk, give them $5. So what if they're going to buy a fucking bottle of Jack Daniels? What would you do if you were in the street and you had nothing else to do? What would you do? Would you not do drugs? Of course you would. You have no life. You have no future. You can't get a job because if you, do something to support your family, you don't have any money, and you steal out of desperation, once you get arrested and go to jail, that's on your record. You couldn't get a job even if you wanted to. Yeah. And it's a cycle, and it gets worse and worse. But here's the real message, okay? This is going to happen on a much wider spread than people give credit for. Okay, people with college educations are going to steal for their family.
Yes.
You'll see.
Yeah.
You'll see. And we can change it. We can change it. Certainly, it'd be nice if the government will help us out. But
Wait. We are the government.
Right.
We are.
Yes, we are.
I didn't get that memo. I'm sorry.
They work for us.
Okay.
But
and we've let them get away with this
Right.
shit
Yeah.
too long.
We have.
Absolutely.
because
We
the
have.
government is just
Listen, in the last presidential election, 47% of registered voters did not vote.
right.
Yeah, I believe that.
Well, hopefully this will
We have
snap
to-
them up this year.
We have to.
Yeah, I
we have
think
to
so.
vote.
We need
have
to. We need
vote.
to
From
change
what I've
this.
seen, yeah.
It's
We really
just,
need to
but
change
it's
this.
just the anarchist who's part of our group. We have an anarchist because we got the
Every group
Misfits.
needs an
Yeah.
anarchist.
He did say something profound the other day. He said, the government is just a reflection of us, which is very humbling.
It's true.
So we can't blame. Everybody loves to blame Congress. No, Congress is there because of us. So until we do something, quit whining do something about it. What's your message?
You know what? Just go out there and do something kind. And if we all think like that when we wake up every day, then think about how many people do a kind act for someone and not expect anything in return.
And
all
that's
it
it.
is.
Not
Yeah.
expect anything in return.
That's right.
Right, and it
That's
takes
right.
almost no effort. It really does. It's a lot easier than people think.
Hey, it's just smiling at people.
Yes.
Well, you can't do that now with the masks.
Yeah,
But you can see it in the eyes.
Yes,
you
I can tell. I can tell
Twinkle.
from the
Just
eyes.
Twinkle.
So my we do have bigger plans. Like in fact, I'm going to call on him right now. The Zappos guy. He owns our building too.
Tony
He's
Shea.
part of DTOV. Tony Shea.
Tony Shea.
We'd like to, we have small-term goals and we have long-term goals. Our long-term goal, since we're here, is that whole abandoned section on East Fremont Street where the hotels are abandoned. We'd like to turn that into the Las Vegas Farmers Market District and turn those into, here's the way we see it. Gut them out, turn them into micro-unit apartments, about 200 square feet. But each other apartment, 200 square feet, will be hydroponic farms. One apartment, one farm, one apartment. Now here's the thing, you don't put on, the mistake that I've seen when they put homeless people into buildings, they put 100 homeless people in a building, there's going to be 100 homeless people in the end. What you do is you take 10% into each building, you absorb them back into society, because until they change their environment, there's not going to do. And what we want to do is close that street off and turn it into Las Vegas Farmers Market District, so it's self-sustaining, it's paying for itself. You can have hay rides, it can be hipster, you can have some shops, you can feed the homeless, you can use this profit from selling the farmers market and make it a fun East Fremont
You know how to
Street.
give a special brand of dignity to the homeless? You find a place where they can take a shower. as in
Yeah.
this is so easy to do. I see so many vacant lots in downtown Vegas that could easily be converted into a homeless encampment, and this will give them a chance to practice
Portable
responsibility.
showers is part of our plan too.
Portable
yeah.
showers. I mean, I
Dumpsters.
want this done.
See, they always try to. Police think they're just going to move the homeless out. They arrest them all the time. They go down, they arrest them. They're back the same day because the word I hear I'm made to start using is called houseless. They're not homeless. They've made homes.
Houselessness.
They've made homes in their tunnels.
Right.
So it's houseless. So the police come in and arrest them, and then it becomes this vicious cycle. They're out 3 days later. The taxpayer gets to pay that, and they're back to where they are. And they think, and they don't want to. They don't want to put dumpsters. They don't want to have portable showers there because they think that's going to draw them there. They're already there, and that
Right,
stuff is being
right.
dumped into our lakes. If you don't care about them, do you like that?
That water
That's
is running into
into-
Lake Mead,
so-
so
Mhm.
think about that.
I used to live in Palm Springs, and at the time, Sonny Bono was the mayor. And I lived there before, but
You do, Sonny.
anyway. So during the spring break, all the kids used to come down to Palm Springs, you know, from LA and all that stuff and all over. And they were everywhere, you know, they were tearing things up and just, and Sonny Bono said, look, why don't we welcome these kids in? Let's make this an event. Let's you know, create events for them, and let's have, you know, places where they can stay, and like you say, you know, public areas, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he fought that for about a year and a half, finally got the city council to agree, and after that, it was awesome. The city was making money off of these kids,
See?
you know, and it completely turned the whole thing around.
You got to think.
And
right.
that's what we need to do with
Yeah.
our attitudes.
Right.
is we can turn this around if we want to.
Yes, exactly. And I'm telling you, these lots that I was talking about in downtown, they're vacant maybe 95% of the time, and maybe 1 or 2 days out of the year, they bring in the NASCARs and the trucks, and everybody comes and fawns, and they do a circle jerk. You know how
Right.
it works. Okay. These lots are very easy for to be converted into a homeless encampment, and this will give them a chance to practice responsibility. You get a certain area here in the lot. Okay, if you mess it up, if you leave it trashed, okay, out you go.
Yeah.
All right. It'll be very easy to hire someone, pay them $11 or $12 an hour, just to sit there, make sure everything is cool.
Irish with the club.
Irish will do it. You kidding me? Irish. We should put Irish in charge of all the encampments. We'll be fine. But you know what I mean? It can be done. It can be done. I'm tired of hearing that it can't.
And since you mentioned Sonny and Cher, once they get the stages back on,
We
John,
do the worst.
John and I do Sonny
We
and
do
Cher.
the worst. We do the worst, Sonny and Cher.
Stage
But I do
two,
Cher.
We'll have you in here and we can
Okay.
We better practice now. Just putting it.
Well, I'm gonna have to work on my Cher verse. If I could turn back time, if I could find a way. It's kind of like a female Mr. Ed, you know. Wilbur.
Here's the thing, you have to be Sonny because he was the short one.
Ouch. Ouch. I've never been called short before.
I'm sick.
Wow. This is going
That
to
makes me
ruin
the
my
sexy
psyche.
one.
I like being short. It's easy for me to look up women's dresses.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
That's why I used to shine my shoes.
We don't condone looking up women's dresses.
no.
Okay.
I do.
Thank you all for supporting the show, for supporting the station. We appreciate the heck out of it. Please pay attention to what's going on. Check out the Holy Smoked Misfit Missionaries.
We're Holy Smoke Vegas on YouTube also.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Which we haven't been working much, but we'll be working on that
We're
more.
gonna start putting episodes on.
We got a
And,
few.
and, and you're working on, with A&E, you're working on...
Well, no,
Oh.
let me clarify. We're not doing this show with A&E. We're doing an intervention with A&E on one of their
Oh,
shows.
gotcha. Okay.
So this is an independent TV show we're doing, and it's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be the driver for the Housewife at Beverly Hills.
Oh.
So now we're doing it Housewife of Beverly Hills, Holy Smoke style.
Well, like I said, thank you all. And
Thank you for having us.
Oh,
We
yes.
really
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it.
You guys
Thank
are
you.
welcome here anytime. If you got something you
So-
want some help promoting, please give me a call. I'm happy to, you know, we don't have a lot of money here, so what we do
Hey.
have is
Got a great
public
studio.
service and a place for a platform for people to get their message out there. So if you know anybody or whatever, get a hold of me. I'm happy to have them in here. And don't forget, I'll be over at Borders this Saturday at 9 a.m. for the book signing. So y'all come out there and see me.
You have a book?
No, I just go there, and if you buy a book, I
I didn't get that memo either. What's this book about?
anything, any book that you buy in the store.
No, your book!
I don't have a book.
Oh, okay.
I'm just signing any.
Why don't you have a book?
Yeah, why not?
I'm waiting to see if he gets reelected.
Okay, fair enough. Well, the damage is done after he gets reelected. What the hell good is the book going to do anyway? No. I
I
hope
believe
not.
in him.
I
I
hope
believe
not.
in American people.
Yes, I do too.
I'm trying to.
I think that we've had enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway,
So-
thank you all, and like I always say, if you're going to do it with styles.
Nice work, John.